All right, let's do a test of the Olight X9R 25,000 lumens. Oh, that's amazing. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Olight X9R Marauder. This is the one that pumps out 25,000 lumens. Yep, I got my hands on one finally. The guys at Olight were nice enough to send this out to me for basically for fun because this thing is absolutely amazing. This thing is officially the biggest, baddest, most powerful, most expensive flashlight I've ever reviewed on this channel. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this beast of a flashlight. Test out 25,000 lumens. Double click. Oh, look at this entire parking lot just light up. Boom. Look at that. This thing lights up this entire, basically this is like a little valley here. Alright guys, so by now you guys probably are very familiar with the Olight X9 Marauder. This thing, like I said, is famous for being a powerhouse of a flashlight, pumping out 25,000 lumens. And if you're a flashlight nerd, you've already seen this on other people's YouTube channels, and it's been making its rounds around the internet. And it's finally my turn, and this thing is just absolutely amazing. I first saw this as a prototype at a SHOT Show a while back and was blown away. And they've made some minor changes to it on the production model, but I finally got one in my hand, so let's take a look. So let's start off right off the bat with the case. If you buy one of these, it comes in a pretty awesome case. I mean, this is amazing for a flashlight. This is basically kind of like a Pelican case for the most part. Very durable, very nicely built, very rugged, meant to be thrown around in the backs of vehicles and whatnot. It is lockable right here. You can put a small padlock on both sides. It does have these really high quality locks. You push in like that and then you pull them out. And then as you can see inside here, it's got a rubber gasket all around here, so it is waterproof. And it has nice foam inside here. Everything is pre-cut for everything. I'm going to get to the good stuff here in a second, but I really want to talk about this case. So if you look right here, there's a knob. It says turn the valve counterclockwise to balance the pressure. So what that is basically a way to release the difference in pressure. So let's look on the inside a little bit more in detail. That is officially the most awesome flashlight case I've ever seen. Matter of fact, this case is nicer than a lot of gun cases that I've seen guns come when you buy them brand new. So this is pretty amazing. You got the egg crate up top, and you got the foam that's laser cut on the bottom. Here's your manual with all the specs. You have a sling, kind of like a rifle sling, because this thing is big and heavy. You have a 12 volt outlet charger for a vehicle, and then you have your wall plug right here, and then this is just the extension for that wall plug because it comes in two parts. The star of the show. Look at that. Let's just take a moment to soak in the beauty of this flashlight. This is a $600 flashlight. I'm actually kind of nervous having this in my possession because if I drop it or scratch it, I gotta buy this thing because I didn't buy this. They didn't give this to me. It's not a gift. They didn't send it to me for free so I can keep. No, they're not going to do that. This thing is $600, so yeah, I got to give this thing back. So I definitely don't want to damage this thing. But look at that. That is just amazing. The fit and finish, the quality is absolutely top notch with this thing. Beautiful. It's a work of art. This thing is an absolute beast for sure. Just to give it some scale, this is my ThruNite TN40S that pumps out 4,450 lumens. Yeah, it dwarfs this thing. And this is my Nightcore TM28 Tiny Monster. This thing pumps out 6,000 lumens. Again, this thing absolutely dwarfs it. 25,000 lumens. Alright, so before we get into all the juicy details on this beast of a flashlight, let's talk about who this flashlight is for first. Who would want to buy this flashlight? I think there's a limited group of people out there that would want this. First off, I think this is built for search and rescue guys for sure. Someone who needs a handheld, basically vehicle headlight in their hands. You know, something big and powerful but still portable. Something that you can use from a vehicle to search for something out in the desert or the forest or whatever up in the mountains. But if you have to leave your vehicle, you can take this and actually, you know, go on foot. And then of course, this is a fantastic flashlight for just flashlight nerds in general. If you gotta have a nice collection of amazing flashlights, this is probably one of the flashlights you need to have in your collection just to say you have it, because it is a conversation piece and it is amazing and it looks like a freaking lightsaber. This looks like a lightsaber, man. It's pretty badass. And it's just cool. You know, there's nothing wrong with buying something simply because it's cool and amazing and a conversation piece. And if you have the extra money, if you have 600 bucks laying around, I say go for it. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's guys that buy ridiculous watches, and there's guys that own, you know, 15 AR-15s. You don't need them, but you want them, right? All right, so let's go from front to back and point out all the basics. So as with all Olight flashlights, they use very high quality aluminum. This is what they call AL6061-T6 aluminum. Unibody design with mil-spec Type 3 hard anodizing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's got the blue anodized bezel. Humongous head on this thing. This thing is huge. Look at, that's the size of my hand there. You can see this thing is as big as my hand. Here's an old school Stinger, police issue Stinger, so you can kind of see how much bigger that is. Yeah, this is not going on your duty belt, that's for sure. It's got a crystal clear lens with the anti-reflective coating. Now looking at the reflector, you can see that it has a very shallow design. The LEDs are set shallow in the reflector. And I've said this many times before, when they're shallow, it's designed for nice wide flood. If it was deeper, it would be a thrower. It also has a orange peel bumpy texture on the inside that helps bounce those light particles around, again, for flood. If it was a thrower, they would be nice and smooth. The LEDs, as you can see there, it has 6 Cree XHP 70.2 LEDs. Humongous LEDs right there. And if you look right there, that is a proximity sensor. So what that is basically a safety mechanism built into the light. So anything that comes in front of this when it's really bright and hot, that could burn or damage, like say your skin or a tent or leather or whatever, any gear that comes in front, that sensor will pick it up and actually reduce the LEDs down to a safe level so it doesn't burn you. Moving down, as you can see, it's got all kinds of venting, basically heat sinks built into the head. It even says right here, caution hot. Yeah, because this thing is going to get crazy hot. With that many LEDs pumping out, you know, 25,000 lumens, this thing's going to generate a lot of heat. Right here, this is actually a rubberized anti-roll ring. So you can actually take this off. If you pull this up here, you can actually remove this. I'm going to leave it on. But yeah, you can actually take that off if you don't want this on there. But what that is it does two things. For one, if you lay it down, it's not going to roll away. Or if it does roll, it'll eventually come to a stop because of those bumps. And it also protects it because the only part of this flashlight touching the surface is just this tail cap right here. So the rest of the body is not touching at all. So your $600 investment is pretty much protected with this rubber ring on here. Alright, so here's their one-touch button control. That's a standard for Olight. They like to do the one-button control. And if you touch it one time, it turns it on. It's on the lowest setting. I just unplugged it from the wall so you can see the battery is full and it has a light to give you basically a fuel gauge of how much battery life it is. And it says full right here at the top. That's pretty nice. And then over here on this side, it tells you the intensity level of lumens. Then moving around the back side, you can see this is the rubberized door, so you can charge the battery without taking the battery out of the flashlight. So you could leave this on your desk and plug it in the wall and charge it, or plug it in your vehicle and charge it. And then when you're ready to go, unplug and just make sure you seal that up so it's watertight. And they do advertise this to be IPX7 water resistant or watertight. Alright, I'm going to put a $600 flashlight underwater. Make sure the flaps are all nice and tight. Tail caps are nice and tight.
Alright, so let's put the X9R into the freezer for the deep freeze test. We'll put it in there overnight and see how it does. Alright, so let's see how the Olight X9R Marauder held up. Ooh, that thing is cold. Go.
On the back here, there's a rubber section built into the handle. It has like finger grooves built in there, so your thumb sits right on the power control button, and then your other four fingers rest in these grooves. Nice and comfortable. And it's kind of a soft touch rubber like you would feel in an automotive type setup. Really nice. Right there you have the branding. It says Olight X9R Marauder with the serial number. And then moving down you have all these flutes built into the aluminum body. If you look right here, there is a blue anodized little hidden loop right there. That's your forward lanyard loop. And then on the back you have another blue anodized sling swivel, and this does actually move, so you can adjust it, but the front one doesn't move, it stays right there, but it does tuck away if you don't want it sticking out. Alright, so let's talk about the tail cap. There is no tail clicky because this is not a tactical flashlight. No, you're not going to be using this with a firearm. This is a search and rescue light. And the prototype that I saw at SHOT Show had a little USB port here, so you could use this as a power bank. The production model does not have that USB port, so it probably makes sense to keep this thing watertight. They didn't want to have another opening to let water get into this thing. So it was a nice idea for a prototype, but the production model just doesn't have that, so something to note. Now, I don't know why this tail cap is so big. Probably more so for aesthetics. It is monstrous though. It looks like a gas cap. I did notice that you can tail stand this thing though, so if you had to use this at a workstation or at an incident command post or whatever, or even at a campsite, you know, it does tail stand if you needed to, but being that this thing is $600, I don't think I'd feel comfortable tail standing this thing anywhere, because if something knocks this thing over, boom, you know, there goes your $600 flashlight getting banged around it. I'm just not comfortable with that. It does make it easy to take the battery out, so what you do is you unscrew this right here. If you look right here, it's got nice threads there. You probably have, I don't know, 5 or 6 threads. And then you have your gasket, a black rubberized gasket to keep the moisture out, to keep it watertight. And then inside here, this is your battery pack. So this is a proprietary battery. It's called the BP X9R if you want to reorder one of these. And it's a 6,000 milliamp battery. It is rechargeable, so that's always nice. This does not take regular 18650 batteries. It does take the equivalent of 8 18650 batteries, but it does not take actual 18650 batteries. And you can't really screw up the battery as far as inserting it. It has an arrow that tells you which end goes in. Matter of fact, there's nothing on the back, so if you tried to put it in this way, it's not going to work anyway. Just make sure that thing is nice and snug so no water gets in. So for those of you guys wondering how long it takes to charge that 6,000 milliamp battery, if you charge this off the wall charger right here, it'll take you about 4 hours to charge this thing full, and about 7 hours if you use the car charger. Now Olight does advertise this thing to be impact resistant from 1 meter height. Okay, so let's see how much this thing weighs. It is a big beast of a flashlight, so I don't expect it to be light by any means. It does have a lot of heft to it. Olight advertises this thing to weigh 65.43 ounces or 1,855 grams. All right, so let's see how much this thing weighs. 4 pounds, 2.4 ounces. All right, let's do it in grams for you guys that live outside the United States. 1,885 grams. All right, so let's talk about the heart of this flashlight, the actual power of those LEDs. So let's go ahead and from the lowest to the highest. If you hold the button down, like on all Olights, you hold it down, it goes to the lowest setting. That's L1 is what they're calling it. That's 200 lumens, and it'll do that for 27 hours out to 60 meters. Hold it down again. That is L2, which is 400 lumens. It'll hold that for 19 hours out to 85 meters. Next up is L3, that's 800 lumens for 12 hours out to 115 meters. L4, 1600 lumens for 8 hours out to 160 meters. L5, that's 3,200 lumens for 4 hours out to 215 meters. Next is L6, 6,400 lumens for 2 hours. And as you can see, it's pretty dang bright. Oh, the sensor just kicked in, so it knocked it down. And that'll throw that 6,400 lumens out to 315 meters. And then next up is L7, which is 12,800 lumens. The light is actually bouncing off my wall. The proximity sensor is kicking in. But it'll hold 12,800 lumens for 10 minutes. And then once the battery starts to heat up or discharge, it'll automatically go down to 6,400 lumens for 90 minutes. And it'll throw the initial 12,800 lumens out to 450 meters. Let's go ahead and test that proximity sensor. Woo! That's hot, but it went down to save my hand. Pretty cool. And then the last one. Boom! L8. That's 25,000 lumens for 3 minutes. But it'll throw it out there to 630 meters. After 3 minutes, it'll either overheat or deplete the battery and drop down to 6,400 lumens for 100 minutes. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and test it. Ow, 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 ow. And it automatically goes down to a safe temperature. Nice. And then as soon as I move my hand, it should go back to 25,000 lumens. Oh my God. That's incredible. I'm getting blinded here, guys. And as with almost all Olight flashlights, it has built-in memory. So whatever setting you left on, that's what it'll turn back on. So as you can see, it was on the highest level and that's what it remembered. So let's go ahead and put it on low. So I have it on the lowest level. Let's turn it off. So it'll come back on low if I leave it on low. Now if you want direct access to low, just hold it down and you'll go directly to the lowest setting right off the bat. So if you need to look for something in your vehicle without, blowing out your night vision, just hold the button down for 2 or 3 seconds and it'll go straight to low, direct access. Now if you want direct access to high, which is 25,000 lumens, just double tap. Boom, and you get direct access to the highest level. And for those of you wondering, it doesn't remember strobe, so let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, strobe, turn it off, turn it back on, it doesn't go to strobe. You got to tap it 3 times to go to strobe. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And for the flashlight nerds out there who want to know the candela, this thing is pumping out 99,200 candela when it's at 25,000 lumens. So not only is this the most powerful, expensive flashlight I've ever reviewed, but it's probably one of the most smartest flashlights as well. It has built-in circuitry to protect it. So Olight calls it smart output control. It prevents overheating. It also has that proximity sensor as well. It also has what Olight calls an active thermal management system, and it basically reduces the output when the temperature gets too hot to prevent any damage to the flashlight circuits and battery. Alright, so enough talking about the flashlight. Let's have some fun and take it out into the darkness and see what this thing can do.
Alright, so let's go ahead and try the low setting. So that's the very first setting. So this is good for just walking around, trying to get around where you're going without blinding yourself. Now let's go ahead and ramp it up. There is a ravine down here. Let's go ahead and just ramp it up. There we go. Ramp it up again. And again. It's getting brighter. And again. Yikes. Woo. Wow, look at that. There we go, 25,000 lumens. Damn, that is incredible. Look at that. Alright, so this is just a parking lot that's totally blacked out. All the lights are off. Let me go ahead and turn it on. Test out 25,000 lumens. Double click. Oh! Look at this entire parking lot just light up. That is incredible. So let's show you again how dark it is out here. So again, blacked out parking lot. Boom! 25,000 lumens. Damn. And this thing floods nice and wide too. I'm actually at the top of a baseball field. I'm looking down. Let's go ahead and test this thing out. Boom! Oh, man. Look at that. This thing lights up this entire... Basically, this is like a little valley here. That is amazing. Like having the sun in your hands. Incredible.
Alright guys, so there you have it. That is my review of the Olight X9R Marauder 25,000 lumen flashlight. Again, this is not for everybody, but if you are one of those few people out there that need a big, monstrous, powerful, high-end flashlight that pumps out 25,000 lumens like a search and rescue guy, then this is probably one of the flashlights you should be looking at for sure. Or if you're just a flashlight fanatic that has to have something cool and badass, this should definitely be in your collection for sure, because it is pretty badass. Alright guys, if you want to buy one of these, go to olightworld.com, and if I can get you guys a discount code, I'll definitely put it down below the video. If I can hook you guys up, maybe I can save you 50 bucks or 100 bucks with some kind of discount codes. If not, I'm sorry, but also keep looking at the website as well, because a lot of times Olight is very good at putting out discounts in general, so you never know, you might come across a flash sale, you know, a 24-hour sale, so you might be able to get $100 or maybe even $200 off of this thing if you're lucky. Alright guys, so please hit that like button to support my channel. Really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Olight X9R Marauder 25,000 lumen flashlight. Thanks a lot guys. Take care.